the difference between somebody who fails and somebody who succeeds in anything that is difficult is a high risk tolerance. You see, there's a lot of things in life that'll get you far, but being able to continuously take big risk or difficult decisions without hesitating and without being too concerned about the outcome, because you know one way or another you will find a way to succeed, is an ability that is greatly underestimated and forgotten in today's day and age.
So I want to make this pretty clear. We're going to talk about risk or high risk tolerance in this podcast. And we know that in most cases it's smart. It will behoove you to avoid unnecessary risk, right? Because there's a difference between risk that you have to take in order to get to where you need to get to, but also the risk that you don't need to take. And it takes a while before you learn the difference between the two, because early on, they're all going to look like the same thing. They're all going to look like this risk is the same as this risk. Me taking this chance is the same as me taking this chance. However, this chance over here might be a good risk, might be a good gamble, and a calculated gamble at that, something that you really put in time and effort into before you made that decision, and you have some facts, some numbers behind it. But then there's also these other ones that just feel good. And when we're talking about high risk and risk aversion, you have to realize, okay, is this risk backed by actual concrete evidence for me to do this and have some type of success behind doing it? Or is this off of a gut feeling? Now, there have been some decisions made by people and by us where it was made by feeling or gut feeling, and intuition is a thing. But more often than not, if you're looking to make a calculated decision in your business and in your life, you have to be sure that you're making a decision not just based off of how you feel. Because let's just use this as a scenario, right? I'm not gonna say we're all men, but we're men here, and most of you probably watching are men, and you have some women there as well, and this affects you all too. So we all know that when you're talking to someone and it gets to a point to where you have a choice to make the right decision and protect yourselves, and make the wrong decision and not. And one feels good. One feels fucking amazing. Not gonna lie. But then the other one may not feel as good, but you're protecting yourself and you're protecting your future depending on what it is that you want. Because if you're not willing to take on the consequences of your protected actions, then it would behoove you to take the more protective route, right? So when it comes to business and things like that as well, there's going to be times where shit may feel good, but is that the right thing for you to do for your business, for you? Maybe not. And again, when you're on this journey and you're trying to move the right way, because damn near every day you have to make a decision that could critically impact your business, right or wrong. So when you're doing that on a daily basis, you have to be very careful to make the right decisions. But in order to get anywhere, you're also going to have to be very risk tolerant, because there's going to be a lot of situations that you may not have encountered before that are going to be risky, that you're going to have to make a decision on. So the difference, again, between risk aversion and taking on these high risk tolerance is realizing that when you're talking about risk aversion, you're taking out those things that you know aren't good for your company, those chances that you know aren't good for your business. But there's these other options over here that you have to do and you have to take in order to move forward. So know the difference between the two. And once you understand the difference between a good risk and a bad risk, and averting a bad risk from a potentially good risk that could elevate you and your company, then that could progress you forward and progress you upward even quicker.
Now, Austin has a saying that he frequently says that I like, and it's no
Wow.
risk it, no biscuit. It's a nice little rhyme, but it's true. If you don't take a risk, you're not going to get the biscuit. And if you don't like a biscuit, just insert whatever food that you like. If you don't eat food, then insert air. I don't care. Now, a lot of things with big payoffs have big risks associated with them. Now, risk can take the form of many things. It could be lack of sleep. It could be financial. It could be burden and stress on family and friends. It could be a risk of your health. It could be a risk of a lot of things. And one of the biggest things that you realize is that oftentimes, and not always, there's a correlation between risk and reward. Oftentimes, the higher the risk, the greater the sacrifices that you need to make, the greater the reward, the greater the payoff. Now, let me list off a couple things that are very difficult, that require big risks. So taking out a business loan, or any loan for that matter, they will have you buy the balls. That is a big risk that you're taking. You're borrowing money from somebody else and you don't even have the money. And you're guaranteeing that I will be able to pay this back some way, shape, or form within this time period in this manner. But if you plan properly, you can succeed in that business and you will be rewarded accordingly. Having a family, that is also a big risk, especially when you are not as financially stable as you need or want to be. Children are very expensive. And even if you don't have children, just being in a relationship can be very, very stressful due to financial circumstances. What is it, like 70% of divorces are initiated due to financial disagreements or stress or burdens? Something
Probably
ridiculous
wrong,
like
yeah.
that. And so that is a big risk, but you got to think about it. The reward is beautiful. I don't know if everybody is a family loving individual, but having a family is something that you can rely on. It's your bedrock. It's your stone. Just having people that you cannot disappoint, but also people who support you and love you no matter what, is something that you can't underestimate. So that is an example of something where the risk is well worth the reward. And I'll even take it another step. For my young men there, Austin came in 20 to 40%. Is this worldwide or is this America?
Let's see, American.
America. Oh, yeah. When was this? I feel like it should be higher.
I think I know where you got that percentage from, but
I don't want it to be higher. I don't want it to be higher, but I'm just surprised. I think I know why other divorces are initiated now and by whom in particular.
that's where I think you got it from.
That's another story. For my gentlemen out there, if you go talk to a 7, 8, a 9, you feel like the risk is higher. You feel like the risk is higher. Your perceived quote unquote danger or threat feels higher. But in reality, man, approaching that 7, 8, or 9 is the same as approaching a 3, 4, 5, 6, even a 1. It makes no difference. The outcome is not the same. However, the reward is it could be higher. Could be higher. You never really know. But one of the things that you always have to do is you have to make sure that your calculated risk is rewarded with a reward that is higher in proportion than the risk. You have to make sure that if you're going to play this game, that you're setting yourself up for success, because there's no reason, as Austin said, to take risks that don't make sense, that don't have high payoffs, that don't guarantee success or don't even have a percentage of success. Why are you going to take risks and put yourself at risk and put the people you love at risk and stress your wallet, stress your burden, stress your people, stress everything for little to no reward? It doesn't make any sense. If you want to just go around and suffer, you're more than welcome to. But don't come complaining when things don't work out the way you want them to work out, because that's just life. You can't just say, I'm going to quit my job and become a successful entrepreneur, have no financing, have no plan, and have no idea. You could, and there's a very small percentage of people who succeed, and I congratulate them. But not everybody can succeed. That's why there's a first place. That's why there's a second place. That's why there's a third place. And that's why there's also no fourth, fifth, or sixth. If you don't place, you don't win. Not everybody can win.
Exactly. Definitely not everybody can win. And I think one of the things that I've learned a lot from this past, life in general, especially the last couple of years, right? Because we've set ourselves up in a pretty good position to where we, whether in business or not, school, jobs, we wanted to do more. And when you want to do more, you have to go out on a limb that most people won't go out on. You will have to put yourself in certain situations that most people won't want to put themselves in. So for us, we've learned a lot about this. And that is the worst that can happen versus reality. And we all have potentially overthinking minds when it comes to trying something new, when it comes to being in a new environment, doing things that are very risky but have a high payoff, right? We all overthink. We all may get a little anxious when it comes to that. And say, for instance, talking to that 7, talking to that 8, talking to that 9, that 10. If you are thinking about going up, what you think in your mind and what actually will probably happen are probably very, very far apart, like this far apart. But you don't realize that because you haven't done it enough. And when you haven't done something enough, your mind can go wild with the amount of outcomes that can happen for you. And if you haven't talked to that 7, 8, or 9, or 10 before, or maybe just once or twice, you don't know all the possible outcomes. And in your mind, because your mind is trying to, or your brain is really trying to fight against what it used to know, which is, okay, I have to be very careful here because if I make the wrong decision, I could die. Back in however many years ago when we were fighting saber-tooth tigers and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? One wrong move could literally end you in an early grave. But now you have that same type of brain that's trying to adjust to things like, hey, let me go talk to this girl. So when you're thinking about all the things that could go wrong, the things going in your mind are very bad. Like, you imagine you going up to the girl and then she's saying, yeah, hell no. And then she slaps you and then everybody points at you and like laughs and like they all stomp you out. And then you all have to like, you walk away crying or some shit. Like, that's probably what goes on in your mind and that's what you're thinking, right? But what actually will happen in reality is probably very different. What she might say is, oh, that's nice. You know, I have a boyfriend or something like that. Oh, that's nice. You know, I'm not really looking to talk to anyone right now. Or, oh, okay, yeah, when do you want to go out? All those things, 2 of them were no's. But did that sound as badly as what you probably conjured up in your head for the expectations of how that was going to go? Probably not. And then one of them was a fucking yes, which you probably would have never thought about happening in your head because all your mind and all your brain likes to do is tell you the bad scenarios of shit. But the more you try, the more you realize that even if shit doesn't work exactly how you wanted it to work, you're still okay. And we have this saying, it's from an anime, but it's basically like, you know, I'm not dead yet. And what you'll realize when you take on these high risk situations or what you deem as a high risk situation, you come out of it alive. And as long as you have breath in your lungs, as long as you can still walk, talk, function, and you still have your balls on you when it comes to coming out of a situation where you thought that you wouldn't, you're okay. You can fight another day. And if you can fight another day, that means that you can have the possibility to win. Just because you didn't win the day before doesn't mean that you can't continue or win in the future. So just know that more often than not, the worst thing that can happen probably won't happen to you. And even if it does, you'll still turn out fine because we've landed it flat on our asses before when it came to business and things in general where it's like, shit, that sucked. But hey, we still have the will to succeed. We still have the will to continue. We still have maybe some pennies left in our fucking pocket. Maybe we still have the same network or even broader network. So we still have a way to come out of this thing in the long term as winners. So once you start to experience these high risk situations more often, the more you realize that. And win, lose, or draw, you start to realize that, again, these things aren't going to off you. They're just going to callous you. And just like a scratch, right? You scratch yourself, maybe you scrape your knee on the ground, and your body produces a callus over where that scratch was, basically trying to heal itself, but also hardening you to keep going. And then you'll have that scar there that reminds you of that one time where you fell. And now you have the wherewithal to know it's like, okay, I was doing this, so this happened. So now I can go into more situations in the future knowing that and knowing how to avoid it. Even if it is a risky situation, now you know how to better handle that risky situation. So, of course, we always say experience is the best teacher. And I definitely believe that if you want to get good at anything, if you want to get good at high risk tolerance, you can only build that tolerance by building that backlog and catalog of tries when it comes to that thing. So we can sit up here and have this podcast and talk to you so eloquently because we've put in the reps. We'll be at 200 something in October. So with everything, not just podcasting, not just talking to girls, you have to put in the reps. And once you put in the reps, that high risk tolerance starts to grow. And then when you have the opportunity to sit in front of someone saying, hey, I have a $20 million deal on the table for you, let's talk numbers, you're not going to freeze up and not know how to speak in front of them. You're going to be like, okay, shit, I've done this before. I've been in this situation before. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk money. Let's do it. And the people that come out of there like that are the ones that come out of there with the big checks, with the big bucks, because they've done it before, or they've built that rapport within themselves to know that shit, it's just another day. The numbers just changed.
I think one of the things about high risk tolerance, and I think you hit the nail on the head with this, is that you build it over time. You build it through repeatedly taking risks, and high risks at that. And you slowly become better and better and better at taking risks. And one of the things in entrepreneurship that a lot of people fail at, one of the things that a lot of people don't see when they get into business, is that you don't come in with a high risk tolerance, but you leave with an excessively ridiculous high risk tolerance. You leave with the capacity to just say, yeah, I know I won't make money off of this $1,000 that I set aside for 20 years, but I don't care. You leave with the notion that if I lose everything today, I can get it back tomorrow, because you know the risks and you know the rewards. You can see the moves on the chessboard. You understand that even though you might hit rock bottom, you actually don't hit rock bottom because you don't lose experience. You can't de-level the levels that you've gained. You become a different person and you've grown stronger in your tolerance. How is it that you think that you can automatically get weaker? Because it's all in your mind. You trained your mind, you fortified your mind, and now all you have to do is flex that muscle over and over and over again. And it becomes to the point where you become a serial high risk taker. You take excessively difficult, long-term, and high-risk scenarios and actions continuously and simultaneously. Because, hey, you start buying properties. That's a high risk. Hey, you start taking loans here and there. Hey, that's a high risk. Hey, you're pulling out loans from the bank for your business. That's a high risk. Hey, you're entering partnerships with fill in the blank. That's a high risk. But you understand the payoff and you understand where the kinks and the knots are at in those actions that you're taking. And you slowly start seeing certain timelines and you begin designing a new strategy. And you're playing this game and you're playing this game and you're evolving how you play this game and you're evolving the game as you play it. And it just becomes a completely different lifestyle. We were talking about this the other day where we were putting ourselves in the perspective of somebody else looking at us and saying, where do y'all even get all that money to spend it on the things that you spend it on? And the answer to the question is very simple. I don't know. I don't. We've gotten to the point where we can't even keep track of half the things that we do or what exactly is going on until we get our executive assistants, coming soon.
Could be one of you?
It could be one of you. Are you competent enough? Can you communicate? Can you read? Can you write? Are you... sounds like a job interview.
I know, right?
Are you adaptive? Do you work well in a fast-paced scenario? Do you have a high stress tolerance? Do you have a high risk tolerance?
Right. If you have all those qualities, then by all means, please reach out to Jose in Austin, and we will get back with you and potentially set up an interview, because we are looking for assistance that can help us along this process, not only in the business of podcasting, but the other businesses that we have as well. If you can help us succeed, then by all means, we will 1,000% pay it back to you in, 10 times over. So yes, continue.
And back to the show.
Yes.
So basically, and it's lost. Are you ready to go now?
I am.
But that's how important that was.
Exactly, but I'm pretty sure you'll remember it in a few seconds here. But, let's just... I can close with this one. So, on average, we make around 33,000 to 35,000 decisions per day. Now, granted, a lot of those are probably unconscious, because if you all have realized, you don't think to do 95% of the shit that you fucking do. Like right now I'm talking, I'm not really necessarily thinking about every fucking minuscule word that's coming out of my mouth right now. It's just like it's free flowing at this point. Me moving my hands, me fucking picking up this water, all these things, all these little decisions. We're making hundreds of decisions per fucking hour, per minute, all that shit, right?
Did you say that 95% of the population doesn't think? Oh, that's what I thought you said.
Oh,
apologies.
Yeah,
I was going to say, let me add that quote in there as well. Make sure you're that 5% who thinks, please. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. But now, of course, a lot of those decisions are unconscious, but some of those decisions are conscious, right? And if you build up that high risk tolerance, you know what that helps with? This makes every decision, whether big or small, easier to make. Because say you've dealt with the hardest of fucking decisions, and then your girl asks you, hey, I have these 3 options for dinner. I don't know which one I want to eat at. I don't know which one, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, well, I know after you eat, you want to go get dessert over here. So that means that we should probably go eat at this place. And if we do go eat at this place, they also have a shit on sale today. So we can get the shit on sale. We can go there, have a good time. We know the fucking owner. After that, we get your little fucking dessert. It's actually close by the house. So after that, we can go fucking back to the house, and then we can go fucking go to sleep. So that decision, which normally for most people or for whoever would have been a long fucking thought out thing that you had to spend the excess time on, becomes very quick to you. And if you can make those decisions very quickly, that means that you can also have more room in your day to make more decisions. So more decisions than other people, which means if you make more decisions than other people and some of them turn out to be fucking right, that probably means in my head that you're more productive than other people. You get more shit done in a day than other people because you're not too busy bogged down thinking about one specific thing. And if you can get more things done than other people, then that means that you can get closer and closer to your goal compared to others, because you're consistently getting shit done and consistently making those decisions because of your high risk tolerance. So that's the importance of having that high risk tolerance. It allows you to do a lot more and allows you to think a lot faster on your feet. And when you are able to do that, that means that you're able to succeed a lot quicker, in my opinion. So the AM Club Podcast.
Signing out.
Mic check.
The AM Club Podcast.